Hello everyone and welcome to another Q&A here on StephenVlog. Today we are covering all of the questions that you guys asked. I say all of. Some of the questions you guys asked in November, and we're doing it relatively on time.
Hooray!
Which is nice. We're caught up on vlogs, we're caught up on, well, we're catching up on mail, we're trying to stay up to date on things, and we're feeling really good about it. So, got a few questions from you guys today. First up is from Kimarie Yap, and she asks, what's your favorite holiday food? Mal?
Sweet potatoes.
Potatoes.
Of the sweet variety.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes. You like both?
Sweet potatoes best.
Okay.
And pie.
Pie. Mal's
pie.
Mal's a pie girl. If you guys watched the Thanksgiving vlog, you'll know that I tried pumpkin pie again. I'm not a pie guy.
No.
Not a pie guy at all. I tried that pie. It was pretty good. I would like you to make some pies in the coming year because I would like to transition myself fully into a pie guy.
Wow.
I like to try things, and from time to time I do try things because if I don't like them, I feel that if I continue to try them over the years, that eventually I'll like them.
I'll make you a Dutch apple pie.
And that's proven true, so I think that I'll eventually convert to... I won't convert to pie, I'll always be a cake man, but there's cake man and pie guy. Hashtag cake man, hashtag pie guy. It's a rivalry. Anyway, as for me, my favorite holiday foods are potatoes. And I've got, really, my two favorite women in my life, my mother and my wife, which also rhymes, so it's funny, make potatoes. They make each, separate potatoes. My mom makes the best mashed potatoes you've ever had.
Yes.
Don't even try. I mean, like, they will beat you to a pulp in a back alley. And then my wife makes the best sweet potatoes I've ever had. And to be honest, I never really used to like sweet potatoes until Mal started making sweet potato souffle. So whenever holidays roll around, I look forward to two different types of potatoes. Mashed potatoes from my mom and sweet potatoes from Mal. So I think those are my favorite holiday foods. And fried turkey. Fried turkey is good. If you've never had a fried turkey, get yourself some of that. Because you will never go back to eating roasted turkey. You won't. I promise. It's a completely different experience. Roasted turkey will taste gross. Matthew Parvin says, Mal, what's your average day like as a teacher?
I get up early. I drive a ways to school.
Okay.
I listen to talk radio, the news radio, NPR.
Okay.
And I get to school. And I have a homeroom, so I get ready for that, and I hand out breakfast during homeroom.
Homeroom's at 8?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's like 20 minutes. And then I have a first block, which is 90 minutes. Then I have a second block, which is 90 minutes.
Back to back?
Yes. And then I have lunch duty.
So your third block is lunch?
It is lunch duty, my lunch, and then a short planning.
Okay. All right.
And then I have fourth block 90 minutes, and we're done at like 3.
Okay. And you make it seem easy.
Yeah.
But what you're really just given the schedule. Mm-hmm. It's not, you're not putting a whole lot of emphasis on the stresses that your day entails.
Every day is different. Every day is, who knows.
lots of crazy stuff. That's just kind of the schedule though. Mm-hmm. Kolton Huntsman says, when you were both in college, did you Skype every day? That's an understatement. And we've talked a little about this before, but we Skyped every single day until we were together.
Yes.
Like, from the time that we started our relationship to the time that we were finally together forever, we Skyped every day for like 14 hours. And some of you are saying, that's funny, haha, but how long did you really talk? 14 hours. Okay, but that's like, it's not every day. No, that's every day. It's every single day. And the way that we did that was we just left Skype on.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the time. Like, it's easy in college. I'm sure it would be very, very difficult if you worked a job, because obviously you're apart. And I mean, you go to classes and stuff. It's not the same. So I would leave Skype on. I might go to class and I would come back and she would be there. So it's almost like we lived in each other's dorm rooms, except in a small box. And that was the way we kind of treated college, and it works really, really well.
We basically live streamed each other all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was necessary, I feel, because when you're in a long-distance relationship, all you really have is communication. So if you're going to communicate, well, crap, communicate a lot, and that's the way we did. And sometimes we wouldn't be communicating, but we would be, like, working on stuff. But it was nice to be able to, if we wanted to, just look up and say, hey, you know, and talk to each other. So that's the way we handled it, and I feel like that's honestly that kind of early communication and pushing that, what we had at that point, to that level of extreme, helped and really led to why our relationship is, at least what I feel, is so successful today. So communicate, people. Kevinito1111 says, can we expect to see some childhood videos of Mao? Yes.
They exist.
They exist. In fact, last year on the vlog, if you guys remember, we were actually converting some of the tapes to digital format. We ended up giving her mom and dad a DVD of, like, childhood memories. The problem is there's like 9 hours of it. And since then, we actually have more tapes. There's like more tapes back there on the shelf.
9 hours.
There's like another 9 hours. And that's not even everything. There's even more back at your mom's house. So there's all of this stuff to go through. And the reason we put my childhood videos online is because I only have one. There's 40 minutes of me. That's the only 40 minutes of me on video that exists before I'm 12. That's it. That's all there is. So for me to put that in a VCR and then edit it down, like, that's easy, and that took no time. But it's a little daunting whenever it comes to Mao, because there's like hours and hours and hours and hours, and
you have no idea who half the people are and what dates and what events were going on.
Exactly. So it's very hard to do that, and that's the reason it hasn't come out. But we have all the stuff that we gave to them last year. I have digital files of them on my computer. So will you get them eventually? Yeah. Definitely. It's just a matter of taking the time to sit down and edit it all down, which is kind of a feat in and of itself. SLPikachu asks, do you have a favorite comedian?
Yes.
I bet your favorite comedian is my favorite comedian.
I bet it is.
Did you learn about your favorite comedian through me?
Yes.
Okay, then it's Mitch Hedberg.
Yes.
Okay. Mitch Hedberg. He is a freaking funny guy. He is dead because he's a comedian, and all comedians are dead. I don't know what it is. Comedians get like super into drugs. Like, there's people that do drugs, and then there's comedians, and they like do like 10 times the amount of drugs. Every comedian overdoses when they're like 30 or something, and that's what happened.
Wasn't he in a car wreck though?
I don't know. But he was a huge drug user.
Yeah.
Huge drug user. He did drugs on stage when he was doing his comedy. So there's a part in one of his things where he actually asks the guy,
"Can I smoke in here?"
Yeah, he's like, "Do you mind if I smoke in here?" And the theater owner's like, "You can." Anyway, his humor is very interesting. I've never heard any other comedian like him. It's all in his delivery. Mm-hmm. It's all in his speech, and it's so weird because if you heard anyone else do his comedy, you would think it was kind of stupid. His comedy is entirely one-liners. That's all he does. Sometimes they're like tiny little stories, but for the most part, he'll stand up and do like 40 minutes of one-liners, and they are freaking funny because they're just like, they're so stupid. One of them is like, the other day, I tried to go to Target, but I missed. And like, that's the way he delivers his stuff. And he has another one where he's talking about the family that they're whenever they call families for dinner, mm-hmm. and he's like, Smith, party of 3, Smith, and then he's like, and then they go down the list. Jones, party of 2. What about the Smiths? We gotta get a search party going for the Smiths. Where are the Smiths? There's another one where he talks about Sprite, mm-hmm. and he said, Sprite is supposed to be lemon lime. He's like, but I've tried it, and there's more to it than that. And then,
do you want some homemade Sprite? Not until you figure what else is in it.
It's really freaking good. If you've never heard Mitch Hedberg, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you check him out. He's got like 3 albums, and that's it. So, definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, my favorite comedian. Next question is from brycemase, and he asks, has jealousy or insecurity ever been an issue in your relationship? How do you feel about this one?
I mean, not jealous of, like, you with another girl.
Okay.
I was, like, jealous of Alex and Dan and Taylor getting to be around you.
Sorry. The idea of you being jealous of Alex is really funny to me. My answer for this one is easy, and I don't really know what other couples go through, and I don't know if this is a common theme or a common concern or anything. But like, I can honestly say that from the very beginning of dating you all the way to now, so dating for many years in a long distance relationship where we can't always be with each other, even though apparently we spent 14 hours a day talking to each other, to, you know, being engaged and being apart and then being together and being married. And throughout all of that time, there's never been an ounce of jealousy, ever. It's just 100% trust. Like, it's not even a concern for me. It never has been. And I don't know if that's just part of our personalities, like if we just are very trusting people. And I feel like that maybe in a way, but also you've never given me any reason to not trust you, I guess. Now I'm
having a love affair with Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry.
Oh, I knew about that one, but that's okay. You keep that up. I am too. But as far as insecurity, I think I've had maybe some level of insecurity, like myself.
Yeah, I feel that way about me.
Yeah,
not about you.
And I think that's not really around anymore. But when we were first starting to date, I guess there was a thought that was like, man, she's gonna wake up one day and realize that I'm a loser. She's gonna see that I'm just like
hasn't happened yet.
This weird kid. Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm just this loser who's filming everything. Although when we started dating, I wasn't doing that. God, how did that not scare you off? Dear God, we were dating for like a year and a half before I started vlogging. How did that not be like, man, this guy's creepy. What is wrong with him? But yeah, that's never been an issue. And like I said, I don't know how common that is in relationships, but it's just never something we've ever faced and not something I've ever had to worry about. And a lot of it had to do with trust and just constant communication. I mean, we talk about everything. Yeah. There's nothing off the table. Nothing. And you're probably saying, what about that? And I'm like, no, we've talked about that a million times. So if you can come up with it, we've discussed it, I promise. Valkyrie33 says, what challenges in your relationship did you work on the most in your first year of marriage? What advice do you have for engaged or newly married couples? What were our first year challenges?
Schedules and just sort of figuring out how people, like, who would run what. Roles, yeah. Speaking of which, I need a sandwich.
Get in the kitchen, make me a sandwich, man. That's what she says to me all the time.
And you do.
And I do. The roles thing is good. The roles thing was something that would not immediately come to mind for me, but that's important. Establish those, because otherwise there's this awkward, like, well, who's gonna do this? And if you establish those roles, I think it's good. And we've never switched off. Maybe that's something that people do. Maybe people rotate chores, but we don't.
Like, I hate vacuuming because it stirs up a lot of dust. So you vacuum.
I vacuum. I take care of the cat box. Generally, I feed the cats and make sure that they're taken care of. I do the dishwasher, but not the dishes. So,
I do like the big pots and pans.
So like the pots and pans that we do in the sink.
Wash.
Mal does those.
I do the laundry.
Mal does the laundry.
You have no idea how to scrub out a toilet or wipe out a sink.
Nope. So she takes care of that. And neither of us make the bed. That's one of those things, like, if company's coming over, maybe we'll do it. But so we have these chores that we've established, and it's just something that we did early on. It was kind of like figuring out who liked to do what. Oftentimes Mal cooks, although in Colombia I cooked just as much, if not more than you did.
And we're trying to get you to cook once a week now.
Yes.
And you're cooking on Friday.
And generally, I since we've started doing that in the last few months, I have been. So it's just because I've been busy. But once I become less busy, I'll probably start cooking more because I really enjoy it. The other challenge for this is more for me personally, and maybe not a relationship thing, but in 2011. Whenever we got married, I did not have a job. We moved to Colombia because Mao had a job offer there. So Mao had a job. I did not. And I know for a lot of people, it's like, well, Stephen does YouTube. He's been doing YouTube forever. But I haven't been doing YouTube forever. And even though I was doing it, it was not a job. It was not anything that could even close to pay bills. So whenever we moved to Colombia, that was a big stress. And in retrospect, I'm not sure if it was a big stress on our relationship, but it may have been. I feel like you really accepted me, and you kind of, especially after September, and after I was like, Mal, we can do this. If you let me continue to pursue this, I'm sure that we can build this up to actual income. But I felt like you believed in me.
I did.
I
do.
And I felt bad, though. I really did, because, like...
I didn't really think about it.
Okay. Well, that's good. That makes me feel better.
You were really worried for, like, nothing.
Well, it was just one of those things, like, you're going to work, and I'm staying at home, and I was working very hard then. That was whenever I just about freaking killed myself, because I took on all that work. I was doing StephenVlog, Stephen Plays, Daily Pack, and Nitin Speaks every single day for about 2 months. And during those 2 months of, I guess it was like November and December, it was really, really hard. But I did it because I wasn't making any money, and I wanted to provide for my family, and the only way I knew how, because I applied for some stuff in Colombia, but by and large there was just not anything available. I tried to do Odesk, which is like this thing where you apply for work and people hire you, but no one's hiring me because everyone's hiring everyone in India who will do it for like nickels on the dollar, so no one was hiring me. So I was kind of out of luck. And I mean, I pushed into YouTube, but I was a little stressed about that, I feel, because I didn't want to come across as like a bum. Like I was working hard, but...
Oh, I think that now.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the income to back what I felt my time was worth and what I was putting into it. So the first year was hard. We took a lot of money out of savings to survive. So it was,
it got better.
It got better. Anyway. Oh, what advice do we have for engaged and newly married couples? Talk. Establish roles. Be honest. Always be honest about everything. Don't ever have like anything that you like. You're holding on to, or always. Never. Let me rephrase it. Never go to bed angry.
Always figure it out before.
Always figure it out before you go to bed. Never go to bed feeling upset. Talk about it. Talk that you can always resolve it. Even though sometimes it feels good to be mad at someone. It really does. I don't know what it is about humankind, but there is that feeling where if you're mad at someone, you kind of feel good about it, at least for a while. But that is completely trumped by the feeling of forgiveness and reconciliation. It is. I mean, as good as it feels to be mad at someone, if you reconcile your differences and you talk about it and you get it resolved, you'll feel 10 times better than that. So,
I agree.
Honesty, truth, talk all the time. And nothing's off the table. I know people like that. I know couples like that, and they won't talk about certain things. I know people like this. Don't be that person. There should be nothing off the table, in my opinion. And now that's my personal opinion. I'm not a marriage counselor, but I think if you're in a relationship with someone, there should be nothing off limits. I think if someone wants to talk about something and the other person shuts you down, and it's like, no, we're not going to talk about that. That ain't cool. I don't like that. Anyway, our next question is from Archaic King, who asks, if a developer is against their games being monetized and or uploaded, does it affect your decision to LP the game? It can. I guess I'll answer this question by saying it can, with a lot of asterisks next to it. First off, let's look at a game from a legal standpoint. Whenever you do a Let's Play, you're taking an interactive work, not a static work, not like a movie. You're taking an interactive work and you're making it your own just by playing the game, just by doing it in your own style, doing your own thing, just jumping in a certain way. You've made it a bit transformative in that way, which adds a little bit to your case for fair use. Then to take that to a much greater degree, if you're adding commentary on top of it, then you are doing even more. You're adding more to your case for fair use because you're continuing to transform the work. If you're giving a walkthrough of the game, then you are using it as a guide to help people, which continues to help your case for fair use. So whenever you do Let's Plays, from a legal standpoint, it's still a gray area. It's not like something that we've had a great court debate over before, but it looks as if there is a great deal of evidence for fair use as far as gameplay commentaries go, which is good. That's very good. That means that even if a developer says, please don't, upload our content to YouTube, you have a really good case for being able to do what you want. That said, because I want to clarify where I stand on this personally, if a developer makes a public statement, they come out and they say, we do not want gameplay videos of our product on YouTube, I respect that. If a company just comes right out and says, please do not upload our content to YouTube, I'm set. I have no problem honoring that. From a legal standpoint, I don't feel like you would necessarily have to, but if they don't want it on there, I won't do it. I know that one developer, the developer that made Heavy Rain, who also, I'm pretty sure, made Beyond Two Souls, they made a public statement. They're like the only developer I've ever known of that have come out and made a statement about it. They said, don't do it. I think it's because their games play out mostly like a really long cutscene, and to them it's kind of like a movie, and they feel like if you play it, you won't buy it. So that's where their stance is on it, and that's fine. So that's a game you would never see on the channel. You'll never see Heavy Rain on the channel because they said they don't want that. However, if a company, developer, publisher, whatever, says, please make videos, please make Let's Play videos of our product, but don't monetize it, that to me is a slap in the face. I don't like that. And that's very upsetting to me, because that's someone that says, please advertise our stuff for us, just don't get paid to do it.
It's not even like they're paying you.
I mean, yeah, well, first off, the companies aren't paying us anyway, but it's a win-win for developers and content creators if they allow us to get the revenue. Some companies get that. Blizzard, they get that. Valve, they get that. Ubisoft, they get that.
Mojang?
And the list... Huh? Mojang. The list goes on and on and on of the people that are like, yeah, you guys are advertising our games for us. It doesn't matter if you're doing a review or doing a full Let's Play. We understand that that is getting our content out there. People see our games, like our games, want to buy our games. You guys sell our games. We think that it's win-win if you continue to sell our games and you make the advertising revenue from it. So when another company comes along and says, please upload stuff, but don't get paid for it, that's... I don't like that. Fortunately, that idea is changing. There have been companies in the past that have said, please upload our content but don't monetize it, that have shifted and that have changed their minds and said, no, monetize our content, because they get it. Like I said before, it's win-win. And the incentive to do the content is to get paid. I mean, as someone who does this full-time, I have to have that revenue. There's no way that I could do an entire series that goes on for a month or two and not make income from that series, because that would be a huge chunk of a paycheck. That would be really, really bad. So if a company says that, then that would tell me that I shouldn't even bother even helping them advertise their game in the first place. They want the advertising, but they don't want me to receive the compensation. Usually, it's because they want to put their stuff in Content ID themselves and claim it, and that's just, that's awful. I mean, it's to me such an obvious win-win situation for content creators and developers. Some of them get it, some of them don't, some of them are coming around. So that's my general thoughts on that entire subject. Okay, Pokemon Pearl 11001 says, do you enjoy the theory side of art, and how do you present it to your students?
I assume they're talking about like the elements and principles, line, shape, color, value, form.
Okay.
But you could also think about it in art history stance.
Okay, do you enjoy that theory side?
I think I understand it a lot better now, so I enjoy it now.
Okay.
Because I see how I need to present it to my students. And I like to present it as a problem. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what it is. Here's your problem to solve. Like, I want to see that you know how to use your color wheels and how to make your colors, and show me it. Go. Mm-hmm. And so I like to present it that way. And as for art history, I feel like I know a lot of interesting facts. I hated art history in college. It was really boring, and 8 a.m. is not fun. But
I've been there.
Yeah. But now that I know it better and I can place it in time, like where art paintings and statues and murals and stuff go in history, I can be like, oh, this makes sense, and this means this because the French were upset during the French Revolution because the Americans were having their revolution, and that's where a lot of our classic American Revolution paintings come from.
You can use art history to help you with actual history.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yes.
Which is neat.
For example, I have a teacher that I work with. He's a history teacher. He dresses up when he teaches something new, like he'll dress up in an actual Greek style outfit.
Really?
Yeah, he goes all out too.
That's pretty awesome.
Sandals, and then he has like art history ties, and he'll come up and he knows I know art history pretty well, and he'll quiz me. What era am I wearing this week? And I'll be like, oh man.
Sorry, you just.
And then I'll guess, and I'm normally right.
It's funny because that makes me think of like on red carpets, people are like, so what? Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing this week?
And then if they were on a red carpet, they'd be like, what era are you?
Well, the way I know is I know from paintings, because I'll recognize the clothing style from a painting, and I'll place that where it is in my art history knowledge, whether it's like French Rococo or Greek or Roman or, you know, anything, neoclassicism. And I can be like, oh, neoclassicism was, you know, this year, and I can be like, you know, the whatever. And they'll be like, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Or who's on my tie this week? That's a Monet.
It's also interesting because as an art student, at least at SCAD, they make everyone take art history. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be there for architecture. You got to take art history. And it's hard. It's very hard, but you learn a lot. But it's also one of those things that you kind of dump out. Like you just flush out of your mind whenever you leave college. And I've had to relearn a lot of stuff because...
I quiz you now.
Because Mal quizzes me, so... I'm relearning stuff. Anyway, next question, last question actually, from Nitin, Gaduraa. You reference Kanye West from time to time. Are you a fan? And if so, what's your favorite song? I do reference Kanye West from time to time, and
a lot.
And yeah, I am a fan. I am a Kanye West fan. But I need to clarify this a little bit. Kanye West, in my opinion, is a genius. A musical genius. I feel like Kanye West is, in terms of a musical sense, in his lyrics and also his music, is fantastic. I really do. I feel like he brings a lot to the table as a musician, and I feel like his lyrics are quite good. As a human being, Kanye West is awful. He is one of the worst people ever. Like ever. Like, if you would put Fred Rogers at the top of the list for best people who have ever lived on this planet, Kanye West would be the polar opposite of Fred. Kanye West is basically anti-Mr. Rogers. Just saying. I respect him as a musician because I feel like he has done a really fantastic job, but every time he opens up his mouth, he just digs himself a pit. He's an awful person. He is a terrible person. I feel like Kanye West should be condemned to, if he ever opens his mouth, he should only be allowed to sing. He should never be allowed to talk. Because every time he talks, he makes a fool of himself. He says something awful. That's my personal thoughts on Kanye West. But as far as having a favorite song, he has a lot of great music. I would say, to name something that people don't normally think of or know of, I'll name Spaceship. I really like Spaceship, which is from College Dropout. It's a good song.
I know the song, but...
I've been working this late shift, and I ain't made stuff, and I think I could buy me a spaceship and fly ooh, past the sky. Ooh. It's a good song. It's a really good song. I like College Dropout. Graduation's probably the best album, but College Dropout's got some good stuff in it too. Yeah, anyway, I like music. If people don't realize that about me, I like music. There's not a genre I don't like. I like everything, and I listen to everything, and I can appreciate every single type of music. So some of you might be saying, oh, that's weird, man. I don't personally like rap. It's weird that you like rap. Well, there's something that you like that maybe not a lot of other people like, and I listen to it too, so.
Steven's iPod on shuffle is the worst.
It's the best! Because you'll go from something like...
classic Sonic music, like done with an orchestra, to like old school country, to Kanye West, to, I don't know, some new pop song, to some song from
back
some
in the
musical
Carolina
or
way,
something.
back in the hills, live my old pappy and he had him steel.
Yes.
Mind of my pleasing and pappy call squeezing. Woo! Lightning. Sorry, I'm done. Don't cry.
road trip.
Don't cry. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give us more questions to answer down below, and as long as we continue the current trend, we will be on time and see you guys at the very end of December. See you guys next time.